This one road just goes all the way through it, 105 miles. We always have faith that the National Park Service is going to do the right thing. Welcome to Shenandoah National Park in Central Virginia. This is Skyline Drive. This is Skyline Drive. That's the car. And we're going to be driving from here all the way down Skyline Drive today. Skyline Drive is the only road through Shenandoah National Park, stretching 105 miles from Rockfish Gap in the south to Front Royal in the north. Good morning.
Hey, good morning. How's it going today?
All right.
Would you like a map today?
Yes, thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
The map is in the park brochure? Yes, great.
Yeah.
Great.
Have a good day.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
Okay, so here's how this works at Shenandoah National Park, according to the brochure. So the park is this long, thin, north-south section of land, and this one road just goes all the way through it, 105 miles, Skyline Drive. There's all these little pullouts all along the way, north to south, south to north. And there are, I think, like 4 visitor centers. I'm not sure. Not all of them are open now, I think, because it's mid-November. But at least this big one, Big Meadows, in the middle, I think that's open. And the waterfall I'm hoping to see is right next to Big Meadows. It's called Dark Hollow Falls. Okay, so that's how it works. It's just one long thing. There's no other roads that go off it. I think there's a highway. There's like a Virginia highway that connects down here. But as far as like roads in the park roads, there's nothing else to see. It's so thin, you just drive and then you can take hiking trails off the edges if you want. This is the very first overlook driving north, McCormick Gap Overlook. Here's the amazing view. West into Virginia, down into Virginia. Well, as I was hoping, the second overlook, which is Beagle Gap Overlook, shows us the view to the east. This is the other side of the road. I'm not going to stop at every overlook, but now we got to look at both sides. So that is to the east. I think I like this view better. More mountains. Because it's mid-November and a lot of the stuff is brown, when you do see color, you kind of notice it. For example, this, red leaves. Came around a curve and saw these in an overlook and they really stuck out. How do you ever know where you are? On the Skyline Drive, I hear you ask. I've got an answer for you. It's right here. The mile marker, 93. Apparently the exact same design as the ones on the Blue Ridge Parkway. So they go from north to south. So this is 93. I'm driving north, so I'm counting down the miles. So the whole Skyline Drive is 105 miles, so that means I've gone 12 miles. There's a park-wide speed limit of 35 miles an hour, and occasionally it even dips below that. And I'm actually trying to go pretty much the speed limit all the time. But that doesn't stop people from tailgating me all the time. I'm just not fast enough for some of these people. So if you do the whole road, Skyline Drive, without stopping at all at exactly the speed limit, it'll take about 3 hours. But of course you will want to pull over for picnics and overlooks and bathroom breaks and maybe hikes. So it'll take longer than 3 hours. So give yourself all day at least. Rip Rap Overlook. I like the names here. Don't feed black bears because there are a lot of black bears here. I'd like to see one. When Shenandoah National Park was established in the 30s, like hundreds of plots of land had to be purchased by Virginia, and over 450 families were displaced. This sign explains that down below here, I guess you can't really see them from here, but somewhere down there are some cemeteries and gravestones from the people who used to live here before their families were shunted aside. What would you do? There's a sign on the road with an arrow that says Dean Cemetery. Sounds interesting. So you pull into the parking area here, and there's this sign. Authorized persons only. Dean Cemetery, 500 feet. What does that mean? I can see the cemetery through the trees. Now the road is blocked off, but I think you can walk there. So here's what I think. Authorized persons means for cars, but anybody's free to walk. So the aptly named Dean Cemetery is for people who have some sort of lineage connection with the original guy, James Dean. Probably not that James Dean. Probably not even that James Dean, but some James Dean. There's a sign that says Shenandoah National Park is not responsible for upkeep of this. The Dean family is. Little non-bread thingies. Hummus with avocado, applesauce, bunch of fudge, and a Diet Coke. And some vegetables, if they're still good. Tomatoes and carrots and broccoli. And look at this place, look at this picnic grounds. I've had worse picnic areas. Thank you very much to Shenandoah. Here we go. The first thing that's been open on this whole trip, Lewis Mountain Lodge, stopped in and got me a Bare Fence double IPA. Shenandoah National Park, branded with the actual national park. Mwah. Something for tonight. Here's something that's really open. I think it's open year-round. Big Meadows Visitor Center.
I take great pleasure in dedicating Shenandoah National Park to this and to succeeding generations of Americans for the recreation and for the recreation which we find here.
High along the crest of the Blue Ridge, not far from crowded city streets, an oasis whispers with the promise of discovery.
So there are a lot of waterfalls here in Shenandoah National Park. The one I'm going to, it's called Dark Hollow Falls. Easy. Behold the falls. That was about an hour, a little over an hour, hiking down and then back here to Fisher's Gap Overlook. It was great. And you get to come back here and once again, Fisher's Gap. It's about 4:15 p.m. and the sun is starting to go down over there. So over here we are starting to see more shadows and light on the mountainsides. And I hope to still be here when the sunset happens. Maybe we can find a cool overlook on the west side and see a nice sunset. That would be great. That would be a great capper to this day. As we get further north, along the parkway, all along the edges of the road, are a lot more rocks. Some big, some small, but as you see, the road is just littered with rocks, which is kind of different than down south. Down south was just trees and stuff. Speaking of rocks, all of this right here is called Mary's Rock, big granite peak, and it's very hard to build a road on the side of it. So they built this tunnel in the 30s. As far as I know, this is the only tunnel on the entire Skyline Drive in Shenandoah National Park. And as a feat of engineering, it was very impressive. It took them about 1,000 pounds of dynamite a day to do this. When they finally got through all the granite, just a week later, cars were driving through, and we still are today. The sunset is starting to happen over here. Looks like the clouds might be pretty thick, but still okay for a sunset, but I cannot find an overlook over on this side that has a nice unbroken view without trees. But we have faith. We always have faith that the National Park Service is going to do the right thing and put an overlook right where I want it. That's pretty cool. I'm going to continue on though. Hope to find another overlook down further to the north at just the right time. Thank you to my patrons on Patreon, and special thanks to John Arne Hansen. Well, we found a great place for the sunset. And now it's going to get dark really fast up here, and there's about 20 more miles or something, 25 more miles of the skyline to go. Okay, this is it. This is the ranger station at Shenandoah National Park. Did the whole thing. Hope you enjoyed this look at Shenandoah National Park. I liked it a lot. Hope I can come back in the future. If you come back in again in the future, or if you've been here, let me know what you thought of it. Anyway, thanks a lot. See you next time. Cheers.